buy or sell. Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
If he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So, or a longer season, we'll see if he gets to catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball to be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. I think smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show just like he did last year. He's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
Oh, you better believe it. It is another season of pro football today, right here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside, Joe Lisi. Fellas, how are we feeling, Joe? Pro football today back in action.
Oh, this is unbelievable. We got a little bit of a taste, guys. Thursday and Friday night, great games that went right down to the wire. We have a rematch later tonight between the Detroit Lions, L.A. Rams, Donnie, a rematch of last year's playoff win for the Lions, 24-23, but a dynamic slate of week 1 action. I can't wait.
It just feels fantastic being back with the boys here, week number 1, and as we said, there's a game Thursday night and Friday night. So many topics to talk to, but also more importantly, we are really going to get after it here and set the table for week number 1 to make sure you know exactly who's in, who's out, and quite frankly, who could get paid before 1 o'clock today.
There are a number of topics that I know the both of you are kind of jumping over the table to get to. We will get to them, don't you worry. But we were all together for the Thursday nighter for Baltimore and Kansas City. Yeah. If you were not with us, right here on SportsGrid, the Pro Football Today crew goes top to bottom, the full game for you. We will be back in action tomorrow night for San Francisco and New York. We weren't together for Friday, though. Donnie, the Eagles beat the Green Bay Packers, high-scoring affair in Brazil. What was your takeaway?
Look, you want my first hot takeaway? Yes, it has to do with the game itself. In the offseason, I was a big proponent. Guys, you know what's going to happen now? We're going to get kick returns here. And it's apparent the NFL special teams coordinators were like, you're not getting any kickoff returns. So can we just start there? We watched Thursday and Friday. Nobody returning kicks. Does that have to change? I'll start with you, Kevin. Get rid of it. Get rid of it or put it at the 50-yard line if you kick a touchback.
It is fascinating to see. I don't know, again, for the NFL, are they happy because now the dangerous play is out of the game, or are they annoyed that in the preseason all of these things tricked them into thinking that their rule changes, Joe, we're going to bring an amazing amount of kick returns?
Well, specials are always part of the game. They're momentum changers. Dynamic playmakers like back in the day, a Hall of Famer, Devin Hester, could change the complexity of a matchup, right? Punt returns as well. And to take that now out of the equation and just see every kickoff go into the end zone for a touchback is disheartening, right? We have rule changes. You want to see it affect at least the outcome of some of these games, Donnie, and it's unfortunate in regards to the first two matchups. We really haven't seen a lot of kickoff returns.
And by the way, I've never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all season long, people. All season long. Feels good.
He's feeling good.
Eat a lot of salads in the off season.
Now listen, I appreciate, Donnie, your willingness to hit whatever topic you please.
Yes.
But we are burying the lead of either the Eagles winning that football game or the Jordan Love injury that came on that final drive that will leave him knocked out 3 to 6 weeks, about a month of football here. Chatter Ryan Tannehill could potentially be someone that they should make a phone call to. I guess they know Malik Willis isn't the guy. Ryan Tannehill could probably tell you that from their time together in Tennessee. Joe, I know you're usually in on this Green Bay team. How concerned are you with the loss and potentially Jordan Love missing a month plus?
Oh, very concerned. I mean, he was plus 850 in regards to an MVP run to challenge one of the best runs in regards to Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. So to see him go down and how he went down, right? He's got great pocket presence, can always break contain with his legs, and to have the ankle injury, especially in week one, where he might miss, let's say, a month and a half of the regular season. He was one of the hottest quarterbacks at the end of the regular season last year. 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions over the last 9 games of the regular season, averaged 270 passing yards per game, led the playoff win over Dak Prescott and Dallas, and to see him go and really light up Philadelphia, right? Put up 250 yards, Jaden Reed. They were moving the football at will, and then to get hurt, even though they lost the matchup, it's a double negative, Donnie, to start the year for Matt LaFleur and the crew.
I got to tell you, and again, rooting interest for me, obviously, was the Philadelphia Eagles, but halfway through that game, guys, I don't know if you guys were the same with me. It was a coin flip who was going to win because the field conditions were so bad and the sloppiness that both teams had. I don't know how much we can take away from this ball game. Do we think the Eagles offense is going to score a lot of points this year? Yes. If Green Bay stays healthy at the quarterback position, they're a very good offense, but I couldn't judge the pass rushes. I couldn't judge, the cornerbacks in this game because everybody was slipping and falling. Now, having said that, just get back to your point, Kevin. Mm-hmm. You have a backup quarterback in Malik Willis. You traded for him to be your backup quarterback. The guy gets one play, takes a sack. The only thing you can't do in that situation is throw it up in the air, give your team a Hail Mary. But I love the fact that the Packers are like, well, we traded for Malik Willis to be our backup. We can't have him as a backup. Let's go get Ryan Tannehill or who knows who's out there at this point. But for me, the Packers, who I thought had a legitimate chance to chase down Detroit, they're in some trouble early.
Tom Brady's going to
oh, you know it, too.
He's going to do one game on Fox.
Oh.
Listen, if he's rough today in that booth, the Packers will be on the phone right away. You mentioned Detroit, Donnie.
Yeah.
It is a boost for this team.
It is.
They moved to minus 130 now to win the NFC North. The Bears even jumped the Green Bay Packers now for the second option there. And a lot of big games on today's slate. Detroit and LA is definitely one of them. Another one is going to be Dallas and Cleveland here. That's the game we're going to get into next. The Cowboys, for a while, who are they going to pay? It kind of broke the way you would have thought. They'll pay CD. They won't pay Dak. Does it feel like they made a mistake, Donnie, this offseason, Dallas?
Look, when you have an owner that leads your offseason and says we're all in, and I'm not a Cowboys fan, but any football fan alone, let's just say this happens. My owner just said we're all in. That means Dak Prescott's going to get a new deal. CeeDee Lamb's going to get his new deal. Micah Parsons is going to get his new deal. And then we're going to lower the cap number, guys, and go after the top free agents on the market. So all in means we're trying to win a Super Bowl. I think they had the worst offseason you could possibly have because signing CeeDee Lamb this late did you nothing but have him miss OTAs and also training camp and still got the same paycheck you thought he was going to get months ago at this point. Dak Prescott, if they sign him, guys, before the snap today, before 1 o'clock kickoff, what does it matter? You were supposed to sign him to lower the cap number so you can sign other players. Disastrous offseason. Now, I still think they have a solid year. You could probably pencil them in for 10 games, but all in, absolutely not.
No, I agree 100%. And when you look at Dak Prescott in regards to his career, he's a compiler up until this point. 69% completion percentage, over 4,500 passing yards last year, 36 touchdowns, the number 1 ranked offense in all of the NFL. They can run it, they can throw it. But Dak Prescott's just like Kirk Cousins, in my opinion. Where's the marquee playoff win? They do have a playoff home game against Jordan Love. They're a 6.5-point favorite, get absolutely abused in the first half, fall behind 21-0, and it's the same old MO for the Dallas Cowboys. Unless this team makes an NFC championship run, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have a ton of answers to make.
Oh, no doubt about it. Now, again, at least they got Lamb paid. DRS, I feel like this has been almost Christmas for you to watch this Cincinnati stuff play out.
It is.
This is an all-time I told you so, it feels like, from Donnie Wright's side here. T. Higgins wants money. He decides, I'll show up. All of a sudden, his hamstring's not working. Jamar Chase is like, I'll show up. Just kidding, I don't practice, and I have a cough that can only be cured by a couple $1 million here, Donnie. What's going on in Cincinnati?
It's so simple. If you have a great quarterback, which we think they have in Cincinnati, you pay them, and they did. You have 2 wide receivers in their prime that for the next 5 to 6 years, you might have one of the most dominant offensive teams that you could possibly have. And now we take a look at this and say to ourselves, wait a second. Jamar Chase might not play week 1. T. that hand of heavy ball. Too, because Kevin knows how my mind thinks here. I don't have to hamstring. Look, you have guaranteed money this year. Cincinnati's already told T. Higgins, you are not part of our future. So why should he go out and say, you know what, my hamstring hurts. If I go in the field and leave it all out there and I get injured, at least this team has my back because I had long-term money. You don't have that here. It's making up, Joe, for a disaster right now.
It is, but I still like them today, laying 7
Without
and a half.
the 2 wideouts?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow,
Joe,
here we go.
As long as Joe Burrow's on the field going up against Jacoby Brissett, there's an advantage there. Chase Brown and the rushing attack can potentially take over. We know about the win total, Kev, for New England, 4.5. They're lucky if they get 2 wins this year.
Now, this is not the only big AFC North news today, Joe Lisi. It is possible, Mr. I said it, that we see Justin Fields start for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Atlanta.
Yes, the best quarterback on the Steelers roster. He gives them the best opportunity not to just get over the 8.5 win total, but to get back to the playoffs and actually potentially challenge for maybe an AFC championship.
Interestingly enough, it seems like bettors disagree. For the first time all week, that number's up to 4 now as the Steelers go to Atlanta. Also, I think Russell Wilson's trying to be like, I can still start this game. Please stop. We'll stay in that AFC North. Game of the day, it's Cleveland-Dallas. We break it down next.
Buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
You know, if he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question here at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, it's not a hard throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So, or a longer season, we'll see if he gets some catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball. So he'll be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. I think, smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that, hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show, just like he did last year, he's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
We're back with you right here. It's Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. That Joe Lisi, that. Donnie right side. Kevin Wallace with you here on a Sunday morning. Let's get right to it. I think the big game of the day, you could argue Sunday night football, but what we've got in Cleveland today is really interesting between the Browns and the Cowboys. Two teams that were in the playoffs last year, but two teams who enter this year with some uncertainty. The Browns get into the playoffs largely due to Joe Flacco getting off the couch and being a star for them. Wins comeback player of the year. Questions with Deshaun Watson. People banking on this Browns defense to be great. Spoiler, I'm low on Cleveland this year. I think they're under their win total. The defense can take a step back, and I'm completely out on Deshaun Watson. As far as Dallas goes, we also have questions. I think losing Dan Quinn is one of the biggest losses any team had all offseason long. And while they still have Dak and CeeDee Lamb offensively, there is not much beyond that. It is a really interesting spot where I feel like many people today, at least for me, are choosing between the lesser of two evils. Who do you dislike more when picking a side here? How do you see it, Joe, between the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys?
I have to go with the home team, and that's why I favor Cleveland in regards to this matchup. Even though Nick Chubb is out, he's on the PUP list. It'll be Jerome Ford, and the rushing attack, his total right now is 49.5. You still have, statistically, Kev, one of the better secondaries in the NFL. Cleveland only allowed 167 passing yards per game in the early part of last year. They were more dominant, and then, to your point, fell off and tailed off towards the second half of the regular season. But I still believe in Myles Garrett and their ability to get pressure on Dak Prescott and to shut down the rushing attack, Donnie. I mean, Rico Dowdle, old man Zeke, and Dalvin Cook aren't scaring anybody. As long as they shut down the run and force Dak Prescott into predictable third down situations, I think they grind out a win today.
And let's understand one thing, too. You look at the Dallas, quarterback situation. Dak wants long-term money, didn't get it. He'll be fine. He's going to be paid $60+ million next year, so no issues there. CeeDee Lamb got his money. You know who didn't get their money here? That's the head coach, Mike McCarthy, living on a prayer this year, hoping they do what? Make a championship run, which we don't think is going to take place. So I'm a little bit down entering into this. But if we are looking at the line itself, it's -2.5. So roughly a coin flip in this game, and I do believe that's the case. Usually myself, I'm like, Dallas's offense, Cleveland's got weapons out there. Where can we place a bet on the over? I like the under, guys, 40.5. Both of these offensive lines are going to be questionable. They're going to be under siege from those defensive lines. So I don't know how clean of a performance we get. But the one thing, if you said, Donnie, what are you worried most about this game? It's not actually the tackle situation for the Browns. You know what it is, Kevin? Deshaun Watson's arm.
It's bad.
Very
really
bad.
bad.
Are we just going to look by that? He's got dead arm already.
Look, so I love Dallas in this game. I'm lower on Dallas. Go ahead. Well, go ahead. No.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Listen,
here we go.
I know you usually look across at this chair. You see weakness. I'll come at you hot. You know that. All right? I'm telling you right now. Donnie, Jedrick Willis is already out.
Yes.
And we've already got
Correct.
Jack Conklin questionable.
Correct.
So Deshaun Watson's going to go out there with both tackles missing against Micah Parsons. That spells disaster.
Somebody needs to take a sack drop.
Honestly, in a way, I wish I could come in with that.
Yeah.
Here's my thing, man. I do think that Dallas could end up having a disastrous season. It could spill out. But it's also on the board that the Cowboys do what they always do under Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Win 12, 13 games. Cruise right into the playoffs. Battle back and forth with the Eagles for the division.
Yeah.
And then they'll disappoint in the playoffs. Dallas as a dog here is surprising to me. I think they win this football game. Also, listen, Dak, high level, can he cross the finish line? The answer feels like no.
Yeah.
Lisi, there's a huge gap between Dak Prescott and Deshaun Watson.
Oh, absolutely. 213.5 is Deshaun's number today, right? We talked about it, Donnie and I did off air. Deshaun Watson doesn't have a 300-yard performance under his belt in a Cleveland Brown uniform in a year and a half. You mentioned Joe Flacco. He had 4 300-yard performances at the end of the regular season to catapult them into the playoffs. Didn't step up in the loss to Houston, but that doesn't matter. He made those playmakers around him better. That's why I actually sort of lean to Deshaun Watson. Even with the dead arm, 213.5, they have to throw the football. You have to challenge that defense over the top to open up the rushing attack. Because if I'm the defensive coordinator now today, Donnie, I'm taking away Jerome Ford.
Yes.
I'm forcing Deshaun Watson to throw the football down the field. Let me see you get it to Amari Cooper. Let me see you get it to Jerry Jeudy and Njoku coming out in regards to short to intermediate routes. If he can't do it, then that's game on, right? Then I score first, game over, and then Dallas should win in a rout. But that's why I do feel that he gets over his total today, and that's why I lean to the Cleveland Browns for the simple fact, Kev, that they're playing at home. If this game was in Big D, I wouldn't like it.
By the way, it's simple to me, too. You look at the Cleveland Browns, and usually in the past, like, hey, CeeDee Lamb's out there. You got electric front, maybe Tony Pollard's healthy. I look at the Browns today and say, they have the better skill position out here. You have Cooper, you got Judy, but then also, nice to see that David Njoku was included back in that football team once Joe Flacco got there as quarterback. It's like, wow, an athletic tight end that can stretch the field and be a red zone target. He needs to be big today. But I look at myself again with the Dallas Cowboys. I got CeeDee Lamb. I got Dak Prescott. Kevin, I don't know what else I have on that team.
Fair.
Yeah.
Agree. Dak Prescott plus CeeDee Lamb gives you more to me than when Cleveland enters this.
Is he on a pitch count today, though? I mean,
CeeDee
we're looking at a lot of things, yeah.
Listen, maybe, again, but is Watson on a pitch count? I mean, are we going to get DTR throwing a football middle of this game?
Ooh.
There are a couple of props that I'm involved with here. I like Jerry Jeudy over 38.5 yards. I know everything I just said. Yeah. But for the caliber of receiver Jerry Jeudy is, that is a pretty low number. He's never averaged less than 45 yards per game in a season in his career. He averages 53.6 yards per game for his career. And we talk injuries for Cleveland.
Yeah.
Deron Bland, Mr. Pick 6 from last year, is going to be out for a while for the Dallas Cowboys here. So wide receiver 2s could be a real target. And who knows? What if Jerry Jeudy becomes the number one guy here for Watson? His talent level, competing with Amari Cooper, I absolutely think is on the board. I like Jeudy in the
I like Judy, too. I think he could hit pay dirt today. He's younger than Amari Cooper, playing with his former college teammate. He did have Russell Wilson in regards to Denver. That limited in regards to his productivity.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one player that I like, even though he's on Dallas, Jake Ferguson, tight end, right? Security blanket. We know that Dak loves to go to him in terms of third down situations. 40.5. I'll throw one more, Donnie. Jalen Tolbert, the second-year pro out of South Alabama, 18.5. Big body. They want to get him down the field. Keep an eye out for him as well.
By the way, if we're looking at defensive ends here, rushing the passer, we got some morning crunch coming up. We're going to give out some player props. I don't want to splash the pot, but there's a outside linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. Won't say his name. He's getting a sack today, boys.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Hey. DeMarcus where?
I also bet Rico Dowdle anytime touchdown score at 4-1. I know it might be Zeke. Zeke is half the price. I'll take the starting back and Dowdle to find the end zone. We go to Sunday night, Rams-Lions next.
Buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
If he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question here at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So over a longer season, we'll see if he gets to catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball to be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. That I think smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show just like he did last year. He's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, it reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
Back right here, it's Pro Football Today. We're kind of busting through this segment because there's agreement all of a sudden between myself and Joe Lisi. Sunday night, it is a playoff rematch from the opening round between the Detroit Lions and the LA Rams. That was a 3.5-point line. It was a win for the Lions, but no cover. 24-23 your final score. Game did go under. Tonight's total is 52.5. Expectation is points. But I'll start us off. This is my favorite side of the day. I'm on the LA Rams plus 4.5 here. I know Aaron Donald retired. I don't think year over year this spread should move another point in favor of the Rams. And again, that was a game the Lions didn't cover. They were outgained by nearly 100 yards. Sean McVay is 6-1 straight up in week 1 in his career. And the Lions haven't won their home opener since 2019, which means they haven't won it under Dan Campbell. I love the Los Angeles Rams plus 4.5.
Speak to me, brother, because I love it. I love the 4.5 as well. Here's the reason why I like the Rams, and I just don't like the Rams in regards to this matchup, Kev. I like them big picture. 10-7 football team last year. We saw Matt Stafford live up to expectations. They had a 5.5 win total at the start of the year because of health issues. Kyron Williams came on, 1,000-yard rusher. Puka Nacua, a star in the making, along with Cooper Kupp. And now you add the defensive pieces. Even though they lost Aaron Donald in regards to retirement, you add Jared Verse, a dynamic playmaker coming off the edge. His teammate as well, Fisk, very good in terms of run support. This defense, I believe, is going to be a top 10 unit at the end of the regular season. I think they have better upside than Detroit. I'm expecting regression out of Detroit now that they're hunted in regards to the NFC. And keep an eye out right now, Donnie, 30-1 for Matt Stafford, MVP odds, 14-1 as a dark horse to win the NFC. I'm all in tonight and big picture on the Rams.
I'll tell you what's nice about this game, though, from a Rams look, is that it looks like Puka Nacua is going to be a starting wide receiver with Cooper Kupp healthy to start the season. We were worried about that as we were entering into it, saying, you know what, that knee injury for Nacua maybe misses some time. Looks like he's going to be good to go, which is great. And again, Matthew Stafford back on his old stomping grounds. 2 dome teams here. The 52.5 does make sense. The only thing I question sometimes is usually the month of September, guys, I love to take overs because I just don't think the defense is there just yet. The offense is healthy and it's humming. They have quarterbacks aren't all beaten up yet, but we've seen so much sloppy play in that Thursday night and Friday night football game. Could those deep balls, those flags, holding penalties call it back? The reason I bring that up is I love the offensive line for Detroit. I think it's the best in the NFL, and I think that I don't know if we're going to take a step back. The reason I bring this up for you, Joe, because it could happen, honestly. You had a great season last year. It's tough in the NFL to keep that going. But the fact that you bring Ben Johnson back as your offensive coordinator, that continuity right off the bat should be there. And so many times, you guys hear me, the Cincinnati Bengals, the camaraderie is terrible because nobody knows if they're out there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's not worried about his new contract. Jared Goff, he's not worried about that either. Still have the running backs in the backfield healthy for game number 1. I just look at it and say to myself, I like where Detroit's at. The 4.5 is a good number, but I'll go against you guys. I think that Detroit wins this football game tonight.
Okay, you like Detroit going away. I think these are two teams that certainly should be cracking into the playoffs this year, no doubt about it. And look, here's one thing, and we'll kind of pepper this in, but both teams are benefited if Jordan Love misses time.
True.
Because the NFC has a lot of teams kind of clumped together that are going to be fighting for wild card spots and things like that. And if the Packers just slip up there, that's going to be huge for both of these football teams. Let me ask you prop-wise here, DRS. I know there were points when Cooper Kupp came back last year. You were willing to jump in. Puka Nacua still stayed wide receiver 1 for this team. Kupp kind of the touchdown guy. But now that Kupp's had a full offseason, it's hard to – it's so weird, but he was the clear-cut best receiver in football.
You're right.
Every single week it was 100 yards or something went drastically wrong. Today, his number is still lower than Puka Nacua's. How do you feel about the two from a props perspective?
It's a good point you bring up, and I'm glad it's game number 1 because against another defense, let's just say it's a top 5 defense, top 10 defense, like, okay, now I have to make a decision. I don't know if you can lose tonight because we think we're getting points. That Detroit secondary can be had by anybody, but if you give me one guy, I'm actually going to go back to Cooper Kupp in this game.
Let me do the same thing on the other side of the field, though, because I know this is also your favorite backfield in the league. Gibbs, Montgomery, just trust them both.
Look, here's what you look. Gibbs yardage, Montgomery gets on the goal line. You can't lose. But there you go. Boom.
I like Jamison Williams tonight, 39.5 for Detroit, but I'm with Donnie on Cooper Kupp. 63.5 was the number that it opened. It's up to 66.5. I took a shot, 80-plus tonight in terms of plus money. He's a consistent wide receiver, and Nacua does have the hamstring injury. That can limit him a little bit in regards to route running, and we know Detroit gave up a ton of yards at the end of the regular season.
For me, I'll just mention this because we're going to talk some rookies coming up next year. And I did place an awards bet on Offensive Rookie of the Year. I didn't place one on League MVP, but I considered Matthew Stafford. You talk long shots here, Joe. I know that's your guy. He finished third his first year in L.A. with a 41-touchdown season. With Nakua and Kupp, Kyron Williams, this team has juice. Stafford could very well be in that race. You see, he's not even inside those top 10 odds. Getting some good value on Matt Stafford. We'll be back. Quick break, talking rookies.
Buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
You know, if he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question here at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So over a longer season, we'll see if he gets to catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball. So be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. That I think, you know, smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that, hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show, just like he did last year, he's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
Back with you right here on Sports Grid, and the NFL Draft provided us with a lot of rookies ready to make a splash. We had quarterbacks flying off the board. Each of the first 3 picks in the NFL Draft were QBs. Picks 1 and 2 will start. It's going to be Jacoby Brissett in New England instead of Drake May. Michael Penix, we knew he wasn't at some point, maybe we'll see Michael Penix. But Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Bo Nix are out there. We've also got a ton of wide receiver talent. I want to take a look just at these guys entering today individually and see if anybody is really backing these guys, whether, season-long markets. And I'll go to you, Donnie, zoning in on these quarterbacks here. Have you found your guy, if you will?
It's if we're just saying who is supposed to be the offensive rookie of the year, it's very easy to say Caleb Williams. And we always like to go down the board like, hey, let's take a long shot. But I do believe at the end of the day, if he plays 18 weeks, 17 games, he's going to put up the best statistics because I think he's actually in the best spot. But if we're just looking for, what can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to be electric because the one thing I do know about the quarterback position, when you're young, you're not waiting around to the third, progression. But if you are a pocket passer, maybe you do that. He's not a true pocket passer. If that read isn't there, he's going to be like, oh, my goodness, look at all the, 50, 60, 70 yards a game, legitimate with the ground game here. I like over 575.5 for his rushing yards. So that's my favorite rookie wager this year, Joe.
I like it, too, in regards to Jaden Daniels. I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it, I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers. I potentially, if we're talking quarterbacks in terms of big picture, I think Bo Nix has life. And the reason why I say that is 11-1 shot. He's going to play potentially 17 games, Kev, as long as he stays healthy, right? Sean Payton, in my opinion, is in a rebuild. He's got to go and make sure that Bo Nix is the face of the franchise and a quarterback in year number 3 to potentially lead them to a playoff appearance. I said it before. Sean Payton didn't take this team over with Russell Wilson to go basically under 500 or miss out on the playoffs and then develop a rookie quarterback. He's in a bad situation, and Bo Nix is a prolific quarterback at college. 81% completion percentage for much of the year last year, 78%, 45 touchdowns at Oregon. Very good in regards to limiting turnovers, 3 interceptions throughout his senior season. He's battle-tested. He'll put up numbers as long as he's healthy. So I would look just out of the quarterbacks, it's going to be Daniels and Nix. But if we're talking big picture, I think what we saw on Thursday night, Xavier Worthy can be that Tyreek Hill type of player. 2 touchdowns, 7-1 down from 14-1. If they're going to implement him in that offense with Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce, I mean, we're looking at Tyreek Hill 2.0.
So there's a lot of interesting angles to get to. I'll say on Worthy, great game, double touchdowns, 3 targets. Hollywood Brown's coming back. I don't know if the workload's going to be there for Worthy. He's going to have a monster. Do you think he could have that level of a touchdown season, Donnie?
No.
I think it would be touchdown reliant.
No, because the problem with that is I think you just brought it up was he's a dynamic talent. If he was on a bad football team where he was the number 1 wide receiver that you brought in as a rookie, yes, but there's so many cooks in the kitchen here, Joe, for me too.
And Kelce wasn't used as much. To go back to the quarterbacks, though, and I'm interested in all the guys. So Bo Nix over 315.5 passing yards is the only season-long straight bet from a prop perspective that I placed. I think he smashes that number. I think that Sean Payton is going to have this kid throw a bunch. Look, the last time Sean Payton had a quarterback he liked, it was Drew Brees, and he threw for 5,000 yards every single season. So I did take a chance on Bo Nix to throw for 4,000 this year at plus 800. I thought it was worth it. But I also placed an Offensive Rookie of the Year bet. I placed it on Kenny Williams at plus 135. I think it should be shorter. Here's what it comes down to. The Bears are minus 110 to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I didn't like any of these other. Now, Worthy, I think, is in a different situation. I don't think the Commanders will be very good. I don't think the Cardinals will be very good. I don't think the Broncos, the Giants, the list goes on and on and on. I think the Bears are a playoff team. I think the schedule is there for this football team, and I think the weapons that they gave Caleb Williams are there as well. Sometimes the correct answer is the obvious answer. I bet the favorite at plus 135 here, Joe. We're going to break those games down in just a minute. I think that the Bears are going to win enough where even if statistically he's not the top guy, winning 10 games is going to make the difference.
I understand what you're saying, but and this is where we're going to disagree. I think he's at a severe disadvantage with Matt Eberflus as head coach. I really do. This was an offense last year with Justin Fields that ran it an average 140 rushing yards per game. Is he going to have that type of look in where he's throwing it 35, 40 times a game the way we've seen other quarterbacks? Are they going to put the football into his hands where he can challenge defenses over the top, Donnie? Or is he just going to run it to grind games out 21-17 because he needs to get over that 8.5 win total? And now with Jordan Love hurt, it's like we'll play conservative even with the rookie quarterback.
I don't know if they will that because, again, sometimes you're just grading that first season that you have that quarterback, not so much in wins and losses, but it's such an interesting dynamic in Chicago because I think Kevin's right. Like, the talent is there. And also, the extracurriculars that I look at, like, let's just say you're looking Major League Baseball. You got a Cy Young Award pitcher. Well, if he's pitching in big games down the stretch, you might get a little bit of a boost. Same thing with players that are at the plate. Hey, 2 home runs late, which actually gets you into the playoffs down the stretch. Let me flip that over to the Bears. The Green Bay Packers, NFC opponent for them, already with a loss, which is an NFC loss and a divisional loss technically for them because they're going to be going toe-to-toe. Now you take a look and say, you're right, Kevin. If I'm in late December, I don't care if they're in the playoffs yet, hanging around there is having a good season, he's going to get the bump up. He really is.
And that's Jaden Daniels, right? I actually think that the Daniels numbers are specifically fascinating today. His rushing prop's 39.5,
Let's
right?
go.
Let's call it 40. Take that over 17 games. You're almost at 700 yards.
Yes.
Easy to see why you're on the number.
Yeah.
With what I saw from Jaden Daniels in college, without getting into our usual debates, his passing yards number's low.
Yep.
He didn't only run the football at LSU. I think Terry McLaurin could have a monster season. There is nobody else for Jaden Daniels to throw the football to there. I think Jaden Daniels, when this season is over, if you and I are going back, numbers are better, good for you. They have 5 wins. The Bears have 10. This isn't a debate because that is, to me, the big advantage Caleb has here. And to bring in then these pass catchers, Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors. One of the other things that I think really hurts these guys is last year Puka Nacua set the record for single-season receiving yards. That's what those guys, I feel, are up against, Joe, in Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Keon Coleman, Lad McConkey, Roma Dunze.
I like Brian Thomas for a long shot. And the reason why I say that is because we talk about Neighbors and explosiveness with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
He was the forgotten man, right? Had more touchdown receptions than Malik Neighbors in Baton Rouge. So he's a big body. He's playing now in regards to Jacksonville. The ability for Trevor Lawrence to maybe bounce back after a subpar season where they started 8-3. I think it has life. But again, I agree with you in terms of backing a wide receiver, Donnie, in terms of Rookie of the Year from an offensive perspective. I would still take a shot on Jaden Daniels. Again, 199 today is shocking. What's even more shocking is the total in regards to this number with Tampa Bay. Total is 40.5, 41 with Baker Mayfield and Jaden Daniels and a new offense. I mean, Sam Howell put up 21 and 21 in that offense last year.
Also, take a look at that Tampa Bay game. Little rain in the forecast. You know, you'd like to have a nice athletic quarterback in the pocket to try to move things around, get those 40 yards. But I'll tell you what, another number's interesting quickly, too. Why is Drake May priced at 14-1? Does that mean he's in way sooner than what we think? Because he can't get a 14-1 price and come in week 9 and expect to be offensive rookie of the year.
It's so crazy. But if you say, hey, Drake May is going to get the job by week 3, do you want him at 14 or Penix at 75? I'll take Penix.
Yeah,
I'll take Penix.
It's got no talent.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally. That New England roster
2.0. No,
is a disaster. I mean, it is a disaster, that roster. From the skill position groups there, and we'll find out tonight. But Blake Corum is 60-1. This whole, it's a shame we don't have enough time, Donnie, because this is so up your alley. Like, hey, Kyron Williams, you're going to return kicks, and Corum's going to return punts. I don't know what McVay's doing. I think Kyron Williams last year was a superstar.
He was.
But if for some reason Blake Corum's the back, 60-1 is way too high.
Makes
way
sense?
too high. Yeah, definitely. He'll be 30-1 and he can catch the football.
We'll do Bears, Titans, Commanders, Bucks next.
Buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
If he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question here at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So over a longer season, we'll see if he gets to catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball. So be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. That I think smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show just like he did last year. He's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
Back at the right here, it is Pro Football Today. Let's get into the games today that feature these superstar rookie quarterbacks that went first and second off the board this past April. We'll begin in Chicago with the Bears as now a 3.5-point favorite against the Tennessee Titans. Some of those fours have popped back up here, and you have a Tennessee team that is hoping Will Levis can be the guy. A lot of change with Mike Vrabel out the door. Brian Callahan steps in, the offensive coordinator for Cincinnati. This is going to be an interesting spot here, Joe, to get the Caleb Williams Chicago Bears tenure underway. What do you like in this game?
I sort of lean to Will Levis, the second-year quarterback in Tennessee, on the road. And the reason why I say that is the optimism and the pressure on Caleb Williams in Chicago to start fast in regards to this matchup. Now, I do believe we get over this total today, 42.5, 43. But Will Levis showed me something towards the end of last year, right? Did lead the come-from-behind win in Miami as a double-digit underdog, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He struggled a little bit with consistency, completing 58% of his passes. But now you have Tajay Spears, you have Tony Pollard in regards to a dynamic pass-catching running back tandem. I think they can put pressure on Chicago on the road today. I'm calling for the upset. Tennessee, Donnie, outright over Chicago.
I got to tell you, I'm with you. I don't know, again, the points out there, the 4, I'll probably lean that way. But why are we giving Chicago so much hype right out of the gate? And granted, I understand that you're getting a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a franchise guy that should be able to operate with 3 talented wide receivers. But also, let's take a look at, you might not get to the starting gate with Keenan Allen today, having that banged up heel. You take a look at Montez Sweat, who's your only pass rusher for me, and what's wrong with him? Banged up coming into this game. That defense stinks out loud. And if we're looking at Tennessee, I always try to weigh this. Free agency can really help a football team. They paid a lot of money. That is going to equate in wins, not playoffs. So I don't know how well the money was spent, but for me, I go talent for talent, man for man. Why can't Tennessee hang around? Is it just we're looking at this game? Well, Will Levis is bad, so I can't take him here. I disagree. Look, Calvin Ridley's at wide receiver. And also, Hopkins was supposed to be out a couple weeks. He's back today. Why can't we I'm into winning the game. This feels like most people are saying there's no way you can take Tennessee. And I think Joe and I are saying, yes, there is.
I think there's. I guess it all depends where you're looking. I've seen people take Tennessee. I'm on the other side. I would be on the Chicago Bears here. If this got down to a flat 3, the Bears are easily on my card. I've considered it at 4, 3.5 here.
He's buying in.
I am buying. Well, here's the thing. I definitely have an advantage at quarterback. I mean, that's 100%. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, come on.
All right, hold on.
Let's go.
He's got no games on his belt.
Let's go.
Okay, and you have Will Levis.
But at least Will Levis was
been in the
Will
pros.
Levis has played games and not been good in them.
And Caleb stepped up and won a meaningful game in college.
And tell me the Will Levis one, because I remember you trying to blame me for Kentucky totals.
Was
that you
10-3?
were
Was 10-3?
I remember the
Wandale
Kentucky totals.
Robinson
You
in
were blaming me sitting
Kentucky.
there
Good point.
fireside.
I'm leaning this way right now.
I mean,
this
just
way.
saying.
Okay, so I
way.
definitely have a quarterback advantage, unless your last name's Levis or Lisi. The pass-catching rooms, the skill position rooms, Calvin Ridley's great. I think Hopkins is going to be on a pitch count here. DJ Moore of that group, I would still say, is the best guy. Rome Odunze was the top 10 pick for a reason. We don't talk about him in that Rookie of the Year race. It's going to be really hard for him to win it, you know what I mean, while Caleb Williams is still there. The running back rooms, you bring in Tony Pollard paired with Tajay Spears, Swift, Herbert. But also, this comes down to home field advantage at times, and this is where, it's a good point to kind of do this again in the season. It varies for everybody. What is home field advantage worth to anybody? If it's worth nothing, well, then I understand betting the Tennessee Titans. If it's worth 2 points, 2.5, 3, I think the Bears are a better football team than the Tennessee Titans. Pair them being at home, I don't think there's anything wrong with this number.
Well, let me ask you this. If Justin Fields was the quarterback, what would this number be?
Lower, because he's been terrible
but
his
he
whole
has.
NFL
But,
career.
all right, that you believe that.
Just so
I
you know.
disagree. But he's an experienced guy, and we're talking about a rookie
experience.
making his first career
So you want
start.
Jared Stidham in this game?
I wouldn't mind it.
All right.
I'll tell you what.
No.
Matt
hold on.
Eberflus, to
Hold on.
me, is
Hold
one
on,
of the
all
worst
good.
coaches in the
All good.
NFL.
Let's find it.
He's a
let's
human
go.
anchor.
No, it's good. We got 2 games in this segment. Bucks, Commanders, 3.5-point spread. The playoff Tampa Bay Buccaneers laying 3.5 against rookie Jaden Daniels. Tell me, Joe, where are you?
I believe in Daniels more than I
good.
do.
Yep.
And
No,
I
great.
do.
Stick
I'll
to
tell
it.
you what.
Stick to it.
No, wait,
Stick
I'll
to it.
tell you.
Stick to it.
Wait a second. I'll
Stick
tell
your
you.
convictions.
Because they're putting him into an offensive scheme with the Cliff Kingsbury, and I think he's a better quarterback. I think he's a better NFL quarterback than Caleb.
Baker Mayfield?
No, than Caleb
But he's
Williams.
not going against Caleb
Doesn't
Williams. He's
matter.
going against
He can
Baker
create
Mayfield.
with his legs.
Aren't you in on Baker this year?
I am in on Baker.
You're in on the Bucs?
Yeah.
So you have Levis Super Bowl tickets? I mean, what's the story?
I think in this matchup, right?
Interesting.
I
On the
think
road.
Jaden Daniels is the X factor in regards to the offensive scheme. They're going to spread Tampa Bay and look to utilize his legs in terms of certain situations. Chicago, guaranteed they are going to go conservative and vanilla in regards to that matchup.
Eberflus
Run the
doesn't
football.
call the plays. They change the
Doesn't
offensive
matter. It's a
coordinator.
philosophy. It's what he wants for every defensive-minded coach is the same way. Vic Fangio, look, Eberflus, Dennis Allen, they're all the same mold. They never win anything. They never win big games because they're always concerned about the defense and keeping games close as opposed to winning games 40-20.
I just think at this point here, if you're looking at that Chicago perspective, I don't know if they're going to be, not wheeling and dealing on offense. You didn't get Caleb probably to not do that, but I just think the defense is so much better on the Titans. Like, I think that game's betting on, honestly, are people going, Will Levis stinks, so I just can't bet them. And I don't think, he's going to stink against that Bears defense
Bears
today.
defense really turned it on in the second half of last season. And Tennessee loses Mike Vrabel, so I have a little more questions on what they're going to be able to do defensively. Let's not forget, you don't have to like Eberflus. Mike Vrabel was the guy that we consistently banked on week in, week out to show up. I know you never liked him, but he would continuously step up. But again, the Commanders-Bucks game, and this is where the gap is. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs won the playoffs last year. Todd Bowles has won multiple divisions in a row now. Dan Quinn's on that sideline with a rookie quarterback on the road, and you're all about Washington.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, Canales is now the coach at Carolina. Does that affect anything in regards to the offensive continuity? They couldn't run it last year consistently. They averaged 88 rushing yards per game.
Where are you on the Bucs game?
I like the over in that game.
No, I like the Bucs in this game. I think it makes some sense because you are getting that veteran quarterback going against a rookie, but it's not Jaden Daniels' fault. I just don't know if that offense is talented enough, but I do like the young rookie quarterback running. But there is weather implications today down there in Tampa Bay with some rainy conditions.
I'm on Brian Robinson Jr. over 42.5 yards in this game. He is the back in this backfield. Eckler is there to catch passes, and that is about it. Running lanes open with your mobile quarterbacks next to you. Brian Robinson Jr. over 42.5 rushing yards on the ground. We come back with you and put the odds in motion right here on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid.
Buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
If he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question here at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So, or a longer season, we'll see if he gets some catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball to be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. I think smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show just like he did last year. He's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
year, if not number one. The report from Adam Schefter of ESPN reads, Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill was detained by police today, entering the stadium for a driving violation, per his agent Drew Rosenhaus. But Rosenhaus said Hill will play today. Oh, my goodness. What in the world is going on in Miami, Donnie?
And again, I don't have boots on the ground here. I'm just seeing pictures. But reading this story just leads me to believe right now that there's usually a line to get in the stadium with fans. And he felt like he didn't want to wait and didn't have that police escort, which you get all the time as a player. Yes. Did he just drive like on the sidewalk to Hard Rock Stadium and they just said, I don't know what's going on here. I got to stop this car. It's crazy.
They got him on the ground. I mean, are you seeing this?
Yes.
They got him chest to pavement here. I mean, what was going on?
I don't know, but I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. But it's crazy. It's a crazy situation.
But it's like the Scotty Scheffler situation where you show up to the major. It's like, hey, maybe it's a little bit of, I didn't know I was supposed to go here, and I made the wrong turn, and I kept driving away. But that's wild. Usually it's like, hey, it's Tyreek. Tyreek, wait, we'll escort you into the stadium. Did he just take it into his own hands?
I don't know. I love the under in this game, though. 49.5.
I mean, look, he's handcuffed and all. I mean, now
yes, I'm watching.
In all seriousness, right? Because this could turn into a whole different thing, right? I mean, all of a sudden now, a man who's handcuffed, they're like, 3-on-1 here kind of situation. I don't really understand what we've got going on here at all. First of all, Drew Rosenhaus is like he'll play. Is he the sheriff? Of
Scotty
Miami?
Scheffler played. Yeah,
I mean,
he had a great round.
Did he have to go down to the precinct like Scotty did, take the mugshot, and get back to the game? Like, we got to worry about this.
What would Tyreek Hill have been doing that they need to have him chest to pavement?
I'm telling you right now, a guy driving down the sidewalk to try to get to the stadium at 35 miles an hour, and they said, what is going on? Stop that guy, and he didn't stop.
And then he goes, I'm Tyreek Hill. I'm trying to get to the game that I play.
Like Scotty Scheffler. We don't know who this guy is. Who is this guy?
I mean, I would think the police in South Beach, Donnie, would have a pretty good idea who Tyreek Hill is, all in all.
Yeah.
Very, very bizarre.
Yeah.
Very bizarre situation.
Does that affect our thought process on the Miami Dolphins? Like, to me, like Tyreek Hill sometimes seems like he's so crazy, like this might give him juice today.
I'll tell you, I'll bet anything.
Oh,
the
boy.
most bet touchdown score of the day will be Tyreek Hill.
I'm going to go with Waddle.
Yeah.
I'm going Waddle. No. I am. I can't buy into
like
it. I'm
this.
not going to do it.
This.
No, I'm not going to buy into it.
Now, is it a plus or minus that he is, like, flustered before the game?
I don't think he's flustered, but it's got to affect preparation to some capacity. Athletes are creatures of habit, and obviously this is a little bit different than golf.
1 o'clock game, right? Miami today?
Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours, and they're playing Jacksonville. I mean, they're 3.5-point favorites at the start. Here, I like Jacksonville to start this game. I really did. I thought they would get back to running the football with Etienne and Tank Bigsby. This was a team that was 8-3, Kev, last year, and they fell off a cliff with Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson lose to Tennessee and Will Levis, Donnie, in regards to that matchup. But again, early on, I think they can run the football. I'm still not sold on Miami big picture. I'm a Dolphins
wild.
fan.
Like, it is really wild. Like, we don't know because sometimes you have like, hey, it's a night game and it was early in the day. But you're right. We're taking a look at the clock right now. It's basically 11 o'clock Eastern. That's a 1 o'clock football game. Is he getting booked? Is he at the precinct? Is he down there live?
Drew Rosenhaus is like, don't worry, he'll be running around in 5 minutes. They got him on the ground. They're shaking him by his ankles over here, and he thinks that, don't worry, they're going to let him go. Like,
is he let go?
I love that you're peppering in your.
Is he let go? Do we get it
under?
Well, I mean, how long? What's wrong with him? I don't have boots on the ground.
I think you're doing a great job.
I mean, here's the thing. But now I like Jacksonville even more.
All right, I hear it. What a totally bizarre situation. We'll get you updates as they come in. The agent says he's playing. That's that. As far as Jamar Chase goes, he's out there warming up. Donnie, take me to the wide receiver room. Does that even mean he's going to play, or is he just showing how good he is on the field?
I think you would have gotten here's what – let's go just back to being a teammate over here. Like, sometimes you text guys as a teammate. They don't text you back. This is a little bit different than that. This means that he's on the field. He's not going to pull back now, right? If T. Higgins isn't playing, and also as an organization, is the phone call already been made, which says basically, look, you're going to get paid this week. We need you this week. Let's hammer this out and let's get this deal done. I doubt if Jamar Chase pulls back as a game time decision, not playing because of his contract, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, be shocked.
Look, all I'm saying is Zach Taylor's like, don't worry, he's back and playing. And then Zach Taylor looked like a fool. This is an unpredictable situation here. But we're going to talk a little MVP candidates, including Joe Burrow, right here on SportsGrid next.